T-minus 2 days until Christy is faced with the dilemma of jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. On this podcast, we're going to talk to her and Carrie. Welcome to this episode of the Taking Off Podcast. I'm Dan Milliken. Via phone is Christy. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. You're here, and boy, I can just hear the excitement in your voice.
Yeah, if only you could see my face.
Yeah, and you can't see Christy's face right now because she is working a ton, and we're lucky to be able to get her schedule freed up enough so she could, jump out of a plane on Friday, or at least given the opportunity. Also on the phone, we have Carrie McCauley, who kind of started this whole thing, right? Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Dan. How's it going?
Going good, and you are in Minnesota right now, right?
Wisconsin.
I knew it was up there somewhere.
Close enough.
Okay, so really Oshkosh is an easy trip for you then every summer.
Oh, yeah, right down the road.
Okay. All right. So what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago almost, we had Carrie on the show because Carrie's a famous ferry pilot and has written a book, and it's a great book. Actually, he's written two now, and on his ferry pilot exploits. So I had Carrie on the show at AirVenture with Christy, and there we surprised her. Some say we bullied her, so let's talk about that. Christy, have you been bullied? You're probably going to say yes.
A little.
I'm not going to say that I was bullied. I think I was definitely, initially I was pressured. Hey, do it. It'll be fun. Do it. And it was something I initially really did not want to do.
Right.
But over time, I've started looking into it more and more. And I don't know. Now it's kind of like one of those fun challenges. I mean, to be very honest, I didn't want to do spins either when I did my CFI training. So that was something I really had to force myself into doing. And it worked out okay. And after the first couple of spins, I was fine. Right. So I figured, hey, if I could jump out of a perfectly good airplane and, walk away from it, then I can do pretty much anything.
You can do anything. And at that, taping of In the Hangar at AirVenture, it was not my idea. Your idea was that you would jump out of a plane if we hit 100,000 subscribers, and we finally did that.
I didn't think it would happen. I was like, sure. It's, like that episode of The Office where Michael Scott promises all the kids their college tuition.
One of the most painful episodes of The Office.
It's so bad. Yeah, no. But I honestly didn't think it would happen or that it would not happen this soon. Not that I didn't believe in us. It's just that I figured it was so far off that I wouldn't have to worry about it for a long time. But here we are.
All right. So, Carrie, you tell us about your jump background, because we know Carrie the ferry pilot. Talk about Carrie the jump master.
Well, I started jumping in 1986, so that was 38 years ago now, I guess, and just immediately fell in love with it. And while I was becoming a pilot and ferry flying and everything, actually that's how I built my time, flying skydivers to get the ferry pilot job. And I became an instructor and just kind of never left. I'm up to almost 20,000 jumps now. I own a skydiving school, and both my kids skydive, and my wife helps me run the business, and that's what I do most of the time.
Carrie, let me ask you this, because I've been asking a lot of people. I'm watching a lot of videos on what it's like to skydive. My biggest fear is that I'm going to jump out and I'm just going to feel like I'm falling the entire time. But I've been told that that's not true.
No, they just say that to make you feel better. It feels like you're falling the whole way. You're going to scream bloody murder, and it's the worst experience in the world. I'm just kidding.
People think I'm being bullied.
No, and that is one of the misconceptions. It doesn't feel like falling. 99.9% of the time. Once in a while, I've had it happen just like maybe 3 times in my career that you get some weird visual and it feels like falling for a couple seconds. But unless you're jumping from a fixed object or something that isn't moving like a balloon, a helicopter, or a base jump like off a cliff, it doesn't feel like falling because you're already going 90 miles an hour through the air and you just slowly accelerate versus going from a dead stop.
Yeah, I actually talked to somebody the other day who got like 3,000 jumps. He said that, once you jump out, that first couple of seconds is like kind of nerve-wracking, but then after that, you just feel like you're floating. And he said it's a very relaxing experience.
It is. To a degree.
Can you confirm that? 'Cause
Yeah, well, in addition to being an instructor, I'm also a free fall photographer. I shoot a lot of video of people doing TAMs in their first jump. And I see them, they're in the door of the plane getting ready to jump. They've got this look of maybe fear and apprehension on their face. And we jump out, and almost 100% of the time, within 3 seconds, their face lights up and they're just giving me thumbs up and screaming and just having a great time. And it's so awesome to see people really having the time of their life.
And I want to make sure, Christy, you understand when he uses the word screaming, it's screaming for joy.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Although
That's good.
it does really help when you scream when you leave the plane because it's amusing for people in the plane because it sounds like, ah.
Oh my gosh.
And I'll tell you that, Christy, I've already gone out to Skydive Spaceland Dallas this past week a couple times. I've done some jumps so that I can be ready to do my solo jump when you do your first one. So it's great because the planes are big. There will be a lot of people on the plane, and the plane is fast. The first time I ever jumped was in Vegas, north of Vegas, in a 182, and I swear it took 40 minutes to get to altitude. And we were sitting on the floor and tandemed up, and it was not comfortable. This was a lot better experience. So you'll have that going for you.
What kind of airplane is it?
There's 2 that they have. They have an Otter, a twin-engine Otter, and then they have a Super Caravan. Is that right, Carrie?
Yep, a super van with an upgraded engine.
Okay, so, and I did it. They were running the Otter, but it may be the Caravan on Friday. I'm not sure.
Okay. Either way, we're going to get up there fast, is what you're saying.
Yes, and
Yeah, you'll be at altitude in about 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Once I'm there, I'm probably going to be like, all right, let's just get this over with.
Right.
I just need to do it. We've had so many conversations, Dan, where it was like captain upgrade. I just need to do it. Spin training. I just need to do it. Now I'm like, this jumping, skydiving, I just need to do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, and
overcome my fear.
Yeah, and I do want to let the audience know that part of the, quote, bullying, I did air quotes for those who are listening, is somewhat scripted in that I do TV and I'm into, creating drama for the stuff. I've told Christy off camera, if she doesn't want to jump, she doesn't have to jump. I mean, it is totally her choice, 100%. But jump.
You did, and you made it very clear. I mean, I agree. You were definitely playing it up, and because it was kind of fun and silly. And like I said, at first, it was kind of like, there's no way I'm going to do this. But, it's funny because people are like, oh, you're getting bullied. You're getting pressured. And honestly, it's me that's doing the pressuring of myself. Because, I'm at a point now where I'm like, hey, I just need to get over this. I just need to do it. I'm kind of at this phase in my life where I'm not doing daredevil crazy stuff or anything, but I like the idea of pushing myself to experience and overcome things that I've been afraid of.
Yeah. Yeah, and that will certainly happen. Now, Carrie, I don't know if there's a magic pill for this, but I remember the first time that I went back in Vegas. they stress to me so much that as soon as you're out, you bring your head back, arch that back, and the list of things that I had to do right off the bat. And I was so focused on that, I didn't really have the time to enjoy the first part of the jump. And the same thing happened this past week with the training. It's, I have to check all these boxes and do all these maneuvers, especially on the second jump, that I don't think I've ever yet enjoyed or just, took the time to enjoy a jump. What's the answer there? Especially for Christy.
Well, yeah. Well, for Christy, she's, it's not really going to be a training focused jump. It's more of a fun jump. And, the first 10, 15 seconds, she's going to be in sensor overload. It's just, she's exposed to such a new and completely different world. It's kind of mind blowing, and it takes a few seconds to kind of, okay, this is cool. I got this, and look around and enjoy it. And, usually people really enjoy their second jump more because they're over that and they really are tuned in quicker. But the first one's still going to be really good. Now for you, the latest two that you've done, you've had tasks to perform. You've got training, you're learning how. So you're more stressed on performance, on what am I going to do. For Christy on this one, just a relatively good arch. You don't have to, you don't have to have a perfect body position. That's what JP, your instructor, is going to take care of. And so you just get to go and enjoy it and have fun.
Okay. And JP, this guy is good, right? Like,
Well,
oh yeah, I've known him for years. He's a fantastic skydiver.
Okay. I mean, I figured that you guys wouldn't pair me with anybody that wasn't.
Well,
I know
this
that's
is
a silly
going to be his
question.
third jump ever, and
Oh my gosh, stop it.
Well, that's three more than Christy.
right. So I mean, he's a pro. JP was recommended to us because we mentioned the fact that you felt so much more comfortable when you heard like Jeff Hawk in the Hangar episode talk about the way jumping, some of the flight characteristics of that from a pilot's point of view. So JP,
Yes.
when I went jumping this past week to get my training in, JP was the pilot of the Twin Otter. So he flies and flies a lot.
Okay.
And then he's now going to be your jump. So he'll be able to really talk to you in pilot terms.
Okay. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. It's funny because like I'm nervous, but I'm also really excited. So.
Right. And for those that are listening, it's not, if you're listening before Friday, June 14th, it's not too late if you would like to come out to Skydive Spaceland Dallas. It's 48 Tango X-ray. And if you want to jump, you can jump. If you want to just watch, there is lots of good area there to watch. So it's going to be we're going to start at 9 in the morning. I don't know exactly when everybody will jump or whatever, but we'll get all that figured out in the morning. But let the party begin at 9 on Friday. So,
I'm ready.
So Chris is more than ready. Okay, Carrie, we talked a little bit about that I'm training. What, for the audience who may think about like, hey, maybe I want to learn to jump to the point where I want to get a license. Walk me through what the licenses are, the certificates. I don't know if there's a big thing in the jump world versus the pilot world where it's certificate over license. But walk me through the levels and what has to happen.
Well, you start off, as a student jumping with instructors, and what we do is we teach you how to fly your body in free fall. At a certain point, the instructors will let you go and they'll stay right with you and make sure you're doing all the maneuvers okay. The next stage, you graduate to solo jump. It's essentially like soloing an airplane. You can jump out by yourself. Once you've completed a number of other, you have to have 25 jumps and pass some other things. You get an A license, which is kind of an unlimited license, like a private pilot's license. And then you move on to there's different levels of certification, A, B, C, D licenses, and instructor and everything. So it's very similar to learning how to fly. The more training you get, more licenses, the more stuff you're able to do.
And for that A license, is there a specific program that everybody goes through, or does it vary school by school?
It varies a little bit. There's essentially two ways to learn how to skydive. The first is called accelerated free fall, which you're going through, which is all free fall training. We start you right off at 13,000 feet. Sometimes you do one or two tandem jumps, training jumps like you've done. Sometimes they take you out with two instructors right off the bat, but those are all free fall jumps. The other way is the static line training, where your first 5 jumps are static line, kind of like the military. You jump out of lower altitude around 3,000 feet, and the chute opens automatically right away, and then you graduate to hop and pops, where you jump out, 5-second delay and pull, and then you go to 10 seconds, 15, 20, until you get up to full altitude. So essentially, those are the two ways you learn how to skydive.
Okay, and so the big question I had was, because I honestly really don't like tandem jumping. It's uncomfortable. It's hard. Can somebody learn to jump without ever having tandemed?
Yes, there's a number of schools. Ours is one of them that do pure accelerated free fall training, where on your first jump, you'll jump out from 13,000 feet with 2 instructors, one on either side of you, but we're just hanging on to you, kind of like outriggers on a canoe.
Right.
But we're not strapped to you. You have your own parachute, and what the instructors do is just make sure everything goes well in free fall. We can keep you stable and give you hand signals to correct your body position, and also remind you to pull the parachute, or even pull it for you if you're forgetting.
What's interesting on these 2 jumps that I did tandem, I got to pull on both of my training jumps. I had trouble locating the golf ball that they have back there, and hopefully that won't be the case on the solo jump.
Yeah, a lot of people, have trouble on the first couple. What we usually recommend and have you do a lot in the initial training before the jump is do a lot of practice pulls, getting to know where that ripcord is on your hip and practice it a lot. You want to get muscle memory so it's as natural as reaching for your wallet.
Well, Dan, don't forget to pull a cord. Thank you.
Well, here's what I learned in my ground school is that there is a device, Christy, that is an altimeter sensitive deal, to where if it senses that your speed through the air is a certain amount and you hit a certain altitude, and at skydive spaceline, I want to say it's like 780 feet or something like that, it will automatically deploy the chute.
Oh, like a Cirrus.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So the Cirrus isn't automatically deployed, but you get what I'm saying.
It's not like rocket deployed out of your back. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually still pretty cool. I did not know that technology existed.
Yeah. I guess it's for, you bump heads with somebody, and which has happened, and somebody's
or pass out or whatever from the fear. Okay.
So they say don't rely on that, but I don't. Has that always been around, Carrie?
They became popular in the early to mid 90s. That at least the current version, which are very reliable. Prior to that, they were kind of mechanically driven, and some were timered. We actually had a almost wind up like an old-fashioned alarm clock. But now they're called automatic opening devices, AADs, and they're fantastic because, yes, if somebody were to have a collision, free fall, and get knocked unconscious, or that's actually very rare that happens. Most of the time when an automatic opener fires, it's because the skydivers are just having way too much fun and lose track of time.
Oh, okay.
But when that happens, that's bad. We frown on that.
Right. Well, yeah, if you're not paying attention, you get all the way down to 780 feet. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty low. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. So Christy,
it's pretty rare that they're used.
Christy, just so you know, what I'm being trained at is that at 7,000 feet, I need to lock in on the altimeter on my wrist. And then at 6,000 feet, I need to be reaching and pulling, so that you're pulling around 5,000 to 5,500. You're falling at, well, I know on, what is it, like 1,000 feet every 5 or 6 seconds? What is the speed,
Yeah,
Carrie?
yeah, about that. You're doing on average 120 to 125 miles an hour. So 1,000 feet is about 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you'll free fall. It'll seem like eternity, but it'll actually only be, I don't know, 20 seconds to 60 seconds max, depending on the height.
Yeah, it's about a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it lasts forever. That minute.
Well, look at your watch sometime for a minute and thinking, still falling,
Right.
still falling.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, I really appreciate having you on, Carrie. And Christy, you have not been as talkative as a normal podcast. Could you be preoccupied with anything coming up?
It's a lot. I mean, I just want to make sure that I'm going into this prepared. Just like anything else I do, I focus. I get hyper focused on something, and I want to make sure that I know as much as I can about it going into it. So that's what I've been doing on my free
think you'll
time.
watch a video before you do it. So.
I have watched probably like a dozen videos at this point.
All right. Well, very good. I won't. I almost asked Carrie a question that probably would not be good for having you on the phone, so I'll skip that one for now and ask it another time. But all right, we're looking forward to Friday, June 14th, 9 a.m. at Skydive Spaceland Dallas, and Carrie, you're going to be joining us.
I will be. I'll be jumping with one of you, probably Christy. I'm going to come and swoop your tandem and come down and say hi while you're in the middle of free fall. So don't freak out when I come flying up.
Bump heads, or you have to use the automatic altimeter deployment.
Just don't bump heads with my guy.
Well, we got to test them somehow, you know. How will we know they work?
Right, exactly. Okay, well, thank you guys for joining in via phone, and thank you for watching and listening. And don't forget our sponsors like Flying Eyes, where if you go to flyingeyesoptics.com, you get 10% off using our discount code, taking off all caps one word. And one thing, I talked to my instructor who, you know, everybody wears a helmet except for the tandem person because the helmets can bash back into your instructor, and you don't want that. But for all the helmets, when I showed him my Flying Eyes, he was like, "Oh my gosh!" He was amazed at how well they fit inside of a helmet. So I think we
wait. Can I wear my Flying Eyes when I jump?
100%.
Yes. Okay.
They've got some goggles. They've got some goggles that are uncomfortable that'll go over the glasses. But you're going 120 miles through the air, so if you don't have a way to secure that, you got to have your eyes totally covered. But
as long as I wear my like Eagle Sport sunglasses, those should be good, right?
Yeah, and I wore my Luzons, and they were fine, even with the magnetic sunglasses on them.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So,
continue on.
Yeah, so I think I need to talk to Dean at Flying Eyes about reaching out to the jump industry. So, Carrie, do you have Flying
I know,
Eyes?
I was going to say, we've just opened up a whole new opportunity.
I do, and one of the things I love about my Flying Eyes is they slide into my skydiving helmet so great, you know, because they're thin and flexible. I wear them on every jump. I have lost 2 pairs in free fall, but not because I didn't have them in my helmet, because I forgot to put them on. I had them laying on my chest strap and jump out in free fall, and there they go. Dang it.
Oh, wow.
Hard to recover, I guess.
No. We'll just chalk that up to Flying Eyes' new like promotional sunglasses from the sky.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. And our other sponsors like Clemens Insurance. Jerry did indeed save me a lot of money when I switched over to him, like over $1,000. ClemensInsurance.net. Z-Vision, the brightest landing and taxi lights out there. XEVision.com. Marshall Protective Services, personal protection elevated. MPSProtects.com. And
Nick is going to be there, right?
Oh, yeah. Nick from MPS will be there, and he's going to jump. So I'm excited about that. So 67 Designs, 67D.com, the best camera and phone mounts, tablet mounts for your phone, for your airplane. And I've actually got a video that I was editing this morning. I'm going to be posting in the next few days that talks about all the different places I mount cameras in my airplane. So it'll be a tutorial stuff. And I feature the 67D products a lot. So, and Colton Mortgage, coltontakingoff.com. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. I hope we see you out at the drop zone, and you guys take care.